You felt it your entire life. That inexplicable knowing. That sense that you don't quite belong here, like you're carrying something within you that others can't see. This is not coincidence. This is not imagination. This is your spirit recognizing what your mind has yet to fully comprehend. You were designed for something extraordinary. There are thousands watching this message right now, but make no mistake, this was meant specifically for you. The fact that you're here, in this exact moment, is the first confirmation. Divine timing has brought you to these words because it's time for you to remember who you truly are. What you're experiencing in your life is not random hardship. It's not bad luck. It's not simply the way things are. What you're experiencing is evidence of a war being waged in realms beyond what your physical eyes can perceive. A battle between light and darkness, between divine purpose and chaotic distraction. When you feel that heaviness in your chest at night, when anxiety creeps in without explanation, when obstacles appear precisely when you're about to break through, these are not coincidences. These are strategic attacks designed to keep you small, to keep you distracted, to keep you from stepping into the power that terrifies the forces working against humanity's awakening. The headaches that come when you try to meditate. The sudden conflicts that arise when you're about to make a significant spiritual connection. The inexplicable exhaustion that hits right when you feel called to create something meaningful. These are not random. They are evidence of spiritual opposition. But listen closely, opposition only comes when you pose a threat. Darkness only fights what it fears. And what the darkness fears most is you awakening to your true nature, to your divine assignment on this earth. Every saint, prophet, and light worker throughout history has faced this resistance. It is the price of carrying something powerful. It is the burden of being chosen. But it is also confirmation that what you carry is real. That what you feel stirring within you matters beyond what you can currently comprehend. The enemy wouldn't waste resources on ordinary souls. The opposition wouldn't target those who pose no threat to its agenda. The fact that you've faced such consistent resistance is one of the clearest signs that you're carrying something the darkness does not want released into this world. Before you took your first breath, before your parents met, before this current reality was even formed, you were chosen. Your soul was marked, set apart, designated for a purpose that extends beyond this single lifetime. This is why you've always felt different. This is why you've never quite fit in with those around you. Remember the moments in childhood when you felt like you could see things others couldn't see. When you sensed things before they happened. When you felt emotions so deeply it was almost unbearable. These weren't defects or oversensitivity, they were your spiritual gifts beginning to manifest before you even understood what they were. The rejection you faced throughout your life wasn't rejection of you, it was rejection of the light you carry. People don't reject what they understand. They reject what threatens the limitations they've accepted for themselves. Your very presence challenges the sleeping world to awaken, and not everyone is ready for that awakening. Those nights spent in tears, wondering why you couldn't just be like everyone else, they were necessary preparation. The isolation forced you to develop spiritual muscles that wouldn't have formed in comfort. The loneliness pushed you to seek deeper connection with the divine when human connection failed you. What felt like abandonment was actually protection, guiding you away from energies and attachments that would have diluted your purpose. You see, the chosen ones often walk a solitary path at first. Not because they're meant to be alone forever, but because they must learn to hear the divine voice clearly without the distorting influence of those who don't understand their calling. Your struggles with belonging weren't a mistake, they were preparation for a role that requires you to stand firm in your truth even when you stand alone. The depression that's haunted you during dark periods wasn't just chemical. It wasn't just circumstantial. It was your soul in mourning, grieving the separation from your divine understanding, temporarily forgetting why you came. It was the weight of carrying ancient wisdom in a world that has forgotten how to listen to the language of the soul. But here's what most don't understand about being chosen, it's not about being better than others. It's about being assigned to serve in ways that require specific spiritual capacities. The very sensitivity that has caused you so much pain is also your greatest gift to humanity. The intuition that has made life confusing is your divine compass, already aligning you with your purpose even before you consciously embrace it. You didn't choose this path. It chose you. And deep in your heart, beneath the doubt and fear, you've always known this truth. Pay attention now, because what I'm about to reveal explains so much of what you've endured. The attacks you've experienced throughout your life have not been random. They've been precisely targeted at the areas connected to your calling, at the gifts you're meant to share with the world. If your purpose involves speaking truth, you've likely faced situations that made you afraid to use your voice. Perhaps childhood experiences where you were silenced, relationships where your words were twisted, or inexplicable anxiety around sharing your thoughts. If your purpose involves healing others, you've likely experienced unusual health challenges, encountered toxic relationships that drained your energy, or found yourself absorbing others' pain to degrees that seemed beyond normal empathy. If your purpose involves creating, you've faced creative blocks, destructive criticism precisely when you were ready to share your work, or bizarre circumstances that prevented you from completing what you started. The enemy is not creative. It uses the same tactics repeatedly because they work. First comes the distraction, sudden chaos or pressing concerns that demand immediate attention right when you're about to make spiritual progress. Then comes discouragement, voices both external and internal telling you that what you feel called to do is impossible, impractical, or already being done better by others. When those don't work, the attacks become more personal. Relationships dissolve inexplicably. Financial crises emerge from nowhere. Health issues manifest without clear cause. All coincidentally timed with your steps toward purpose. For many chosen ones, the most effective weapon used against them is isolation. You've likely experienced friend groups that suddenly dissolved, supporters who vanished when you needed them most, and a persistent feeling that no one truly understands you. This isolation isn't just painful, it's strategic. Isolated lightworkers are easier to discourage, easier to convince that they're imagining their calling. The betrayals you've experienced from those closest to you, these weren't just human failings. They were strategic removals, orchestrated to break your spirit at critical moments in your development. The relationships that ended most painfully were often those that would have hindered your spiritual growth had they continued. Have you noticed how technological issues seem to plague you when you're about to connect with spiritual community or share your gifts? Computers crashing during important uploads, phones dying during crucial conversations, platforms mysteriously restricting your content right as it begins gaining traction, these are not coincidences. The night is always darkest before dawn, and the attacks are always strongest right before breakthrough. The depression that descends without warning, the anxiety that grips you without cause, the sudden feeling that everything is pointless, these are last-ditch efforts to stop you from stepping into your power. And here's what few understand, the specificity and intensity of these attacks are actually confirmation of how powerful your purpose is. Your enemy knows your assignment even if you're still discovering it. The forces of opposition have recognized your potential long before the world has seen your impact. It's time for you to understand something that will change everything. What you've been calling coincidence has been divine orchestration all along. Those random encounters that changed your life path. Those books that seemed to fall into your hands exactly when you needed their message. Those dreams that felt more real than waking life. The synchronicities, the number patterns, the déjà vu moments, these were all breadcrumbs leading you back to your soul's agreement. You are not here by accident. You are not here to simply survive, pay bills, and die. You are here as part of a divine intervention, a cosmic correction, a spiritual revolution that's been prophesied across cultures and throughout millennia. This revelation isn't coming to you now by chance. It's coming because you've reached the point in your journey where you're finally ready to receive it. The pain you've endured was preparation. The confusion you felt was protection, keeping you from stepping into your power before you were ready to handle it responsibly. Listen closely. The world is in the midst of a great awakening, a fundamental shift in consciousness that happens only once in many thousands of years. And you, watching this right now, are among those who volunteered to be here during this transition. Before you came into this body, you raised your hand and said, "Send me. I'll go. I'll help." The dreams you've been having that feel like memories, they are memories. Memories of who you were before coming here. Memories of what you promised to do during this lifetime. The inexplicable knowledge you sometimes access without having learned it, that's ancestral wisdom encoded in your very DNA, activating now because it's needed. Those moments when you suddenly feel peaceful for no apparent reason, when clarity washes over you like a wave, when you feel connected to everything around you, those aren't random spiritual experiences. They're glimpses of your natural state, your true identity beyond the amnesia that human incarnation temporarily imposes. The 5 signs you've been experiencing are confirmation of this divine selection. First, the persistent feeling of not belonging, of being different from those around you, even your own family. This isn't alienation, it's the soul's recognition that you're operating on a different frequency, carrying codes and information that many around you cannot yet access. Second, the unusual challenges you've faced, often starting in childhood, challenges that seemed too heavy, too complex for someone so young. These weren't punishments, they were accelerated lessons, compressed evolution, forcing the development of spiritual muscles and divine discernment years ahead of schedule. Third, the unexplainable knowing you sometimes experience, information coming to you without logical source, understanding complex spiritual concepts without study, recognizing souls you've never met in this lifetime. This is your access to the Akashic field, to the collective consciousness, activating ahead of the masses because your role requires this access. Fourth, the uncanny timing of both obstacles and opportunities in your life, doors closing and opening in ways that defied probability, guiding you on a path that only makes sense when you look back at the pattern. This divine timing has been protecting you, positioning you, preparing you for a role that requires you to be precisely where you are right now. And fifth, the inexplicable pull towards serving humanity, healing collective wounds, and bringing light into darkness, even when doing so brings no obvious personal benefit and often comes at great personal cost. This isn't learned altruism, it's your soul's prime directive remembering itself. What you must understand now is that these signs aren't just validation of your uniqueness, they're activation codes. Each recognition brings you closer to full remembrance of why you came. Each acknowledgement breaks another layer of the amnesia that was necessary for you to function in this dense reality. And here's the revelation that changes everything: you didn't come here primarily to heal yourself. You came here to participate in the healing of the collective. Your personal healing journey has been necessary preparation, but it's not the end goal. It's the prerequisite for your true work. The suffering you've endured wasn't just karmic balancing or random misfortune. It was strategic acquisition of the exact forms of compassion, understanding, and wisdom you'll need to fulfill your specific mission. You've been through precisely what you needed to experience in order to serve those you came to serve. Now listen with your entire being, because this is the moment everything changes. The fact that these words have found you means you're ready. The fact that they resonate at your core means your time has come. You don't need more signs, more confirmation, more preparation. You need only to accept what your soul has always known. You are awakening not just for yourself but as part of a divine orchestration, a synchronized activation of light workers across the globe. Look around you, others are remembering too. Others are stepping into their power. Others are breaking free from the amnesia of human limitation. This is happening now because it must happen now. The world is at a crucial tipping point. The outcome isn't predetermined. It depends on those who remember their purpose, who step into their divine assignments, who refuse to be distracted by the intensifying chaos designed specifically to divert their attention from what matters. From this moment forward, You must recognize every unusual obstacle as confirmation of your path, every attempt to silence you as evidence of the power of your voice, every relationship that falls away as necessary clearing for what's coming next. The synchronicities will increase. The signs will become unmistakable. Doors will open that were previously sealed shut. People with complementary purposes will be guided into your experience. Resources will appear from unexpected sources. But only if you accept this activation, only if you consciously step into agreement with your soul's contract. Say it aloud now, I remember. I accept my divine assignment. I step into my purpose fully awakened. Feel that shift. That's the alignment of your human consciousness with your divine blueprint. That's the melting away of limitation. That's the restoration of power that has always been yours. Now here's what happens next. Return to this message whenever doubt creeps back in, whenever the fog of forgetting temporarily descends. Let these words serve as an anchor, a reminder, a beacon calling you back to your knowing. And understand this, the path forward won't always be easy, but it will always be right. The challenges won't disappear, but they'll take on new meaning. You'll begin to recognize them not as obstacles but as opportunities for alchemy, for transformation, for the conversion of darkness into light, which is the essential work you came to do. Your intuition will sharpen. Trust it absolutely. The internal guidance system you were born with is activating to new levels now. What comes through as hunches, gut feelings, or inexplicable certainty is actually divine intelligence speaking through your human instrument. Honor it above external authorities, above conventional logic, above the well-meaning advice of those who don't understand your calling. As we close this sacred moment of recognition between us, know that you're not walking this path alone. You're being witnessed, supported, and guided by forces beyond what human eyes can see. The very fact that you've received this message is evidence of this guidance system working in your life. If your soul is stirring with recognition, if something within you is standing at attention, vibrating with the truth of these words, do not scroll away without acknowledging what's happening. This is your awakening call. This is your activation sequence. This is your soul reaching through the noise of 1,000 distractions saying, remember. Remember why you came. Leave a comment below with the simple words, I remember, to anchor this activation, to declare your awakening to the collective, to signal to others on the same journey that they are not alone. Your declaration creates ripples in the field of consciousness that help awaken others still sleeping. And subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, not just for more content, but as a conscious choice to continue this journey of remembrance, to receive the ongoing activation codes your soul is seeking. This isn't just about building audience, it's about building the conscious community that will carry the new earth forward. The fact that divine timing has brought us together in this moment is not random chance. It's evidence of the grand orchestration happening behind the scenes of our physical reality. Trust the timing. Trust the unfolding. Trust the awakening that's happening within you right now. You've carried the light long enough in silence. You've honored your intuition despite doubt. You've persisted despite opposition. Now is the time to let that light expand beyond measure, to let your voice carry the frequencies of truth this world desperately needs. You are chosen. You are remembered. You are activated. And from this moment forward, nothing can stand in the way of what you came here to become. The emptiness you felt at times, that void no relationship, achievement, or material possession could fill, was never about lack. It was your soul's homesickness for divine connection, a connection that's your birthright, a connection now reawakening within you. When you close your eyes tonight, pay attention to the subtle energy moving through your body. That tingling sensation is not imagination, it's the remembering of your light body, the activation of dormant DNA, the reconnection to frequencies beyond the limited human spectrum. This is happening now because you're ready, because the world needs what only awakened beings can offer. The tears that sometimes come without obvious cause, they're not weakness. They're the physical release of ancient knowing, cosmic remembrance moving through your human form. They're sacred, these unexpected moments of emotion. They're the washing away of the amnesia that was necessary for you to function in this dense reality. Have you noticed time changing recently? Moments that stretch into eternity, days that vanish in what feels like hours. This isn't aging or psychological perception, it's your consciousness shifting between dimensional experiences, learning to navigate between the linear time of human experience and the eternal now of divine awareness. The increasing sensitivity you may be feeling to foods, environments, energies, and people isn't illness or weakness, it's the refinement of your instrument. Just as a precisely calibrated scientific tool cannot be exposed to certain conditions without damage, your awakening system requires new forms of protection, new boundaries, new discernment about what and who you allow into your field. When divine wisdom flows through you in conversations, when words come out of your mouth that surprise even you with their depth and clarity, that's not coincidence or random intelligence. That's clear channeling, your higher self speaking through your human voice because someone needed precisely that message in that moment. The divine doesn't waste energy. You're not receiving this activation to simply feel special or different. You're receiving it because there's work assigned specifically to your unique energetic signature, work that cannot be accomplished by anyone else. Listen with your heart as I tell you this: the longing you've carried, the purpose you've sought, the meaning you've craved, they're all different faces of the same remembrance. Your soul has been pulling you toward this awakening your entire life. Every disappointment that kept you seeking, every relationship that couldn't fulfill you, every achievement that left you still hungry for something more, these were not failures. They were breadcrumbs leading you back to your divine nature. As this activation completes within you over the coming days and weeks, you'll find yourself drawn to different foods, different environments, different uses of your time and energy. Honor these changes. They're not random preferences. They're your system recalibrating to support higher frequencies. The synchronicities will become undeniable. Number patterns that catch your attention, songs that play with lyrics speaking directly to your situation, books that fall open to exactly the passage you needed, strangers who say precisely what your soul was questioning, these aren't coincidences. They're confirmation that you're in the flow of divine communication. Many around you won't understand what's happening. Some may worry about you. Others may criticize or attempt to pull you back into old patterns. This is both challenge and confirmation. Hold your center. Not with argument or defense, but with the quiet certainty of awakened knowing. This message has come to you now because you've reached the activation threshold. Your frequency is now capable of receiving and integrating these truths without the system shutdown that would have occurred had you encountered them earlier. Divine timing is perfect, even when human impatience questions the pace of unfolding. Remember, you didn't find this message by accident. You were guided here because it contains frequencies your soul has been seeking. The emotional response within you as you hear these words is recognition, not persuasion. I'm not convincing you of something new, I'm reminding you of something ancient that you already know at soul level. If you're feeling overwhelmed by this activation, know that this is normal. Divine remembrance doesn't always come gently. Sometimes it crashes through the carefully constructed walls of forgetting because time is of the essence. Breathe through it. Journal what comes. Trust the process. Your system knows exactly how to integrate what's awakening within you. Each time you return to this message, you'll hear something different, notice something new, because the activation happens in layers, revealing what you're ready to receive in divine sequence. This isn't just content, it's coded light language speaking directly to your DNA. As we prepare to close this sacred space between us, place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth. Feel the pulse. Feel the ancient wisdom stored in that magnificent instrument. Your heart knows the way forward when the mind cannot see the path. Your heart holds the map to your divine assignment. You are not alone in this awakening. Look for others whose eyes carry the same light, whose words resonate with the same truth, whose presence brings inexplicable peace or recognition. These are your soul family, awakening alongside you, each with complementary gifts needed for the collective elevation occurring now. The time for hiding is over. The time for doubt is past. The time for hesitation has ended. Step fully into the light of your divine purpose, not with arrogance but with the humble certainty of one who has remembered their sacred agreement. The world needs exactly what you came to offer: no more waiting, no more preparation, no more permission seeking. You are ready. You are remembered. You are chosen. And if the power of these words has stirred something deep within you, if you feel the activation occurring in your very cells right now, honor that sacred moment by sharing below. Type, "I accept my calling," to declare to the universe, to the collective consciousness, and to yourself that you're stepping fully into alignment with your higher purpose. Subscribe now if divine guidance has brought you here. This isn't just digital connection, it's spiritual communion with others remembering alongside you. This channel exists as an activation portal, and your conscious engagement with it signals to the universe your readiness for what comes next. The light within you is needed now more than ever before. Let it shine without apology. Let it illuminate without hesitation. Let it transform everything it touches, beginning with you. You've been chosen. Now choose yourself.